Saudaraku, kalau kita membaca Injil-Injil, jarang sekali kita menemukan bacaan di mana Tuhan Yesus marah-marah. Apa yang kita temukan dalam Injil selalu Tuhan Yesus melakukan sesuatu yang merupakan berkat dan baik bagi orang semuanya. Menyembuhkan orang sakit, memberi makan orang banyak. Hal yang selalu dilakukan adalah hal yang baik. Maka bacaan kita menjadi soal ketika kita membaca bagian kita pada saat ini. Yesus lapar, melihat pohon ara. Yesus pergi ke sana, tidak menemukan buah. Yesus kecewa, dan karenanya Yesus mengatakan, jangan lagi ada buah padamu. Dan pohon itu kering. If we read the Gospels, we almost never found stories that Jesus did something harmful. What we always found instead is that Jesus did something blissful and meaningful. Healing the paralytic and those who are sick, calm the storm, feeding 5,000 people, and many others, told us that gospel stories are in fact showed Jesus is a merciful person. But our story this time tells us something different. It was told that Jesus was hungry. Seeing a fig tree by the road, Jesus went up to find fruit in it, but he found nothing but leaves. Jesus said, "May you never bear fruit again." And immediately the fig tree withered. Mungkin karena itu perlu kita lihat sedikit lebih dalam apa yang sedang terjadi. Ada dua hal yang menjadi perhatian kita. Yang pertama, Yesus adalah putra Yahudi. Dan karena itu sebagai putra Yahudi, Yesus tahu pohon mana pada usia mana sudah pantas untuk berbuah. Artinya sebagai putra Yahudi dan hidup dalam budaya Yahudi, Yesus tidak mungkin mendatangi satu pohon ara yang masih kecil, yang belum pantas untuk berbuah dan meminta buah daripadanya. Tidak mungkin itu. Yesus pasti mendatangi pohon yang menurut Yesus sudah pantas untuk berbuah. Tapi hal kedua, saudaraku, adalah bacaan kita, kalau kita lihat itu padanannya dalam Injil Markus pasal 21 mengatakan bahwa pada waktu itu belum musim buah ara. Kembali lagi, Yesus adalah putra Yahudi, dan bagaimana bisa kita mengerti bahwa seorang putra Yahudi datang ke pohon ara pada waktu bukan musim buah ara dan meminta buah dari pohon itu dan kecewa ketika tidak ada buahnya. Atau kita mesti mengertinya secara lain. Saudaraku, kita perlu melihat ini dari sudut apa maunya Yesus. Let us look a little deeper. These are two facts that we have to consider. Firstly, Jesus was a Jew. That's the fact. He spent his boyhood and educated in Jewish culture, Jewish society. So Jesus knows exactly about the fig tree. He knew that the fig tree by the road is old enough to bear fruits. That is why Jesus came and looking for fruit. But he found nothing on it except leaves. And this is very disappointing. Secondly, we have parallel story, not exactly the same story, but the parallel story in the Gospel of St. Mark, chapter 21. And there, Mark says, it was not the season for figs. So how come that the Jewish people like Jesus came to a fig tree out of the season, found nothing but leaves, and then disappointed, and then cursed the tree? Isn't that confusing? Yes, it is confused if you read the gospel from our human point of view, like reading novels. You have to read the gospel from Jesus' point of view. So it's not a mistake what Jesus did. Memang kelihatannya tidak cocok peristiwa ini, bahwa ada seorang Yesus yang dibesarkan dalam budaya Yahudi datang ke pohon ara, minta buahnya, dan tidak ada lalu menjadi kecewa, dan setelah kecewa mengutuki pohon itu. Kecuali kita harus yakin bahwa ada maksud Yesus di sana. Dan kalau kita belajar membaca Alkitab, kita tidak boleh membacanya seperti membaca novel. Kita mesti membacanya sebagai buku kehidupan. Dan kalau kita mau membacanya sebagai buku kehidupan, kita akan lihat sisi pandang Yesus seperti apa. Jesus always do something pedagogic, something to teach people, something to teach his disciples. Jesus can use anything as example in teaching people. Sometimes he uses sword, light, children, birds, flowers, you name it. This time, Jesus wants to use fruit in teaching his disciples, in teaching us. Jesus asked for fruit from us, fruit from our life. The question is, what kind of fruit? St. Paul told us about this kind of fruit in his letter to the churches in Galatia, chapter 5. But the fruit of Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Yesus selalu melakukan sesuatu dalam kesengajaan untuk mengajar. Dan Yesus bisa menggunakan apa saja untuk mengajar. Garam bisa dipakai untuk mengajar, burung bisa dipakai untuk mengajar, kembang bisa dipakai untuk mengajar, anak-anak bisa dipakai untuk mengajar. Apa saja yang ada di depan Yesus bisa dipakainya sebagai alat pelajaran. Dan buah juga bisa dipakai sebagai alat untuk mengajar. Pertanyaannya kita adalah, buah apa itu yang dipakai untuk mengajar, dan buah apa yang diinginkan oleh Yesus? Rasul Paulus dalam surat kepada jemaat di Galatia mengatakan tentang buah itu: kasih, sukacita, damai sejahtera, kesabaran, kemurahan, kebaikan, kesetiaan, kelemah lembutan, penguasaan diri. Itu buah yang diminta oleh Yesus. So Jesus wanted to teach the disciples to bear the fruit of Spirit, fruit of life. By the same way, Jesus wants us to realize that He can ask for this kind of fruit from our life any time. Anytime. And we should bear the fruit of life anytime. We should have love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control anytime in our life. That's our fruit. And when this fruit of life asked from us by our fellows, we cannot say, just go away and come back tomorrow sometime. We cannot say to Jesus, sorry Jesus, right now I live in a foreign country. I'll overdose love, joy, and peace when I get back home. You can say that to Jesus. Or I'm sorry Lord, I'm still young, so I don't have those patience, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness as you ask from me. I'll give it, and I'm getting older. You can say that to Jesus. Or even, sorry Lord, I live in a postmodern society, so I don't have those gentleness and self-control because we don't have it in a postmodern society. Let us remember that from the very beginning, Jesus will never accept our excuses like that. Jesus asked for the fruit of life now. No excuse. Anytime, any place. Saudaraku, kita tidak bisa berkata kepada Tuhan Yesus bahwa saya tidak bisa memberikan buah-buah kehidupan itu sekarang Tuhan, karena saya lagi hidup di tanah orang, lagi cari makan di tanah orang. Saya tidak bisa memberi kasih, tidak memberikan kesabaran, tidak bisa. Yesus katakan, "Enggak, saya minta sekarang. Buah itu saya minta sekarang." Kita juga tidak bisa mengatakan kepada Yesus, "Ya, saya masih muda Tuhan, jadi jangan minta itu sekarang. Tunggu saja sampai saya tua sedikit, pasti saya punya." Atau kita tidak bisa katakan kepada Yesus, "Saya hidup di masyarakat postmodern, dan di masyarakat postmodern tidak butuh yang ini, tidak butuh yang itu, karena itu saya tidak punya Tuhan. Jangan minta itu dari saya." Supaya kita tahu, Yesus tidak mau menerima alasan seperti itu. Anda di tanah orang, iya, tapi Anda mesti bisa memberikan saya buah yang namanya kasih. Anda bisa memberikan saya buah yang namanya kesabaran. Dan jangan bilang bahwa sekarang saya di Amerika bukan di Indonesia. Tidak bisa. Yesus minta buah itu dari kita. Dan dengan cara itu Yesus mengajar para murid. Kalau tidak diberi, ada sanksinya. Now, as we gathering for World Communion Sunday worship service, to realize that Jesus never makes excuses in saving us. Jesus never said that, well, you are a Taiwanese, not the Jews. You are an Indonesian, not the Jews. Come unto me, all you that labor and work hard, and I will give you rest. Not only for Jews. At the Last Supper, he broke the bread and said, "This is my body, which is for you." And then he took the cup and said, "This cup is the new covenant with my blood." So to all of us who believe in Jesus Christ and joining this world communion, remember that Jesus wants us to bear the fruit of Spirit, fruit of life, at any time and any season. So let us live in such a way and let people see our good deeds and praise our Father in heaven. Kita merenungkan bagian ini ketika kita bersama dengan saudara-saudara kita dari Gereja Taiwan merayakan perjamuan kudus sedunia. Dan supaya kita ingat bahwa dalam hal menebus, Yesus tidak pernah pilih-pilih. Yang saya tebus hanya orang Yahudi saja. Anda orang Taiwan, Anda orang Indonesia, saya tidak mau tebus. Saya hanya tebus orang Yahudi saja. Tidak seperti itu. Dia katakan kepada semua orang, mari, kamu yang berbeban, kamu yang berbeban berat, saya berikan kelegaan kepadamu. Dan dengan cara yang sama, Yesus pada jamuan terakhir memecahkan roti lalu berkata, ini tubuhku yang dipecahkan karena kamu. Ini darahku yang ditumpahkan karena kamu. Tidak pakai musim. Dan karena itu mari kita hidup begitu rupa, sehingga lewat perilaku kita orang melihat. Dan dengan melihatnya, mereka memuliakan Bapa kita yang di sorga. Amin.
姊妹大家平安。咱最近有一个伫 Houston 有一个工程师，伊讲伊用17天的时间，对1997年开始，伊就去访问，伊去拜访每一间 Starbucks coffee shop。恁有看过这个新闻？伊讲，伊到即摆已经17年了后，伊要从全世界所有 Starbucks 拢要去带伊去访问，去啉一杯咖啡，然后翕一张上海，翕了安尼，讲表示讲我要来努力这项代志。已经17天，已经12000几间的迄个 Starbucks 已经互伊去了后，抑佫有新的。我一直咧想讲，这个人是咧想啥？好伊啥那吼，我真好奇，我啥那伊吼，安尼伊工课放伫边了后，安尼真努力，安尼要去访问，要去拜访每一间 Starbucks 的一款这咖啡店，是啥物困难？我嘛知影有一个青年，伊安尼用足侪时间几啊年了后，伊安尼摕到伊一个工科的这个PhD 的 degree。博士学位，嘛有一个真好的工课。无偌久了后，伊大伊爸爸妈妈讲，我已经照恁的期待完成啊！即摆我要做我想要做的代志。爸母带一个，讲你要创啥？讲我要来去做新闻记者，要来翕相。爸爸妈妈吼，带一个了吼， 常常想讲，啊，你好好的工课唔做，还是要去做这，啊，你敢食会饱？因到即摆还搁咧想，讲啥那阮的囡仔啊，遮尔好的工课做了后，伊当要放弃，敢要去翕相。我想伫咱的四周围，咱嘛侪少拢会听见有即款真趣味，也是真 dramatic 的，迄款的真戏剧性的即款的这故事。其中有一个，咱今仔读到就是保罗，伊嘛是其中一个足趣味的故事，足趣味一个人。伊是足优秀的出身的背景足好，伊嘛受到足好的教育。用这么来看，伊伫加马列的这个来这个做学生啊，然后做这个真好的训练。用这么来看的是，伊嘛有一个 PhD， 嘛有一个博士学位。但是，咱今仔读腓立比人书第3章，互咱看见讲，伊要放弃，伊要放弃。但是伊也想讲，咱要来问一个问题：保罗啥要放弃真好？这个有一个真好的前途，一款的情形。保罗讲，因为耶稣基督的缘故。咱中间嘛，足一人吼，因为耶稣基督的缘故，咱的性命嘛有改变对无？有是因为耶稣基督的听啦，耶稣基督的帮赞啦，咱祈祷耶稣基督听咱祈祷，咱的性命嘛伫遐改变，是耶稣医治我的病，我感谢上帝，咱的性命改变。但是今日咱所读的圣经内面，到底保罗甲咱讲的，就是讲，现在我的性命改变是因为什么原因？咱来看腓立比人书的第3章的第10节。个答案底下，伊一开始大项拢无讲，就是讲啥？我要认识耶稣基督，迄认识耶稣基督上重要就是讲，我要认识耶稣基督的迄个国外的困难。换一句话就是，耶稣基督国外，真做对伊来讲是一个生命转变的困难，甲生命转变的这时机。因为耶稣基督国外，互伊看十字架，原来互人感觉是见笑的事底下，变做一个公用的事。原来大家拢无爱苦难，大家拢走啊离苦卡。伊为了耶稣基督的缘故，伊欢喜将苦难大幕来讲，呀不要紧。伊为了耶稣基督的缘故，耶稣基督国外的缘故，伊欢喜放下一切。伊的这个学位，伊的出身，伊讲我即马就是只有为着耶稣基督，为着上帝所交代我的咧跑走，其他的我拢看作是笨手。咱的台湾话来翻做更较直接，就是安那，伫咧 restaurant 遐的物件，迄款的物件咱就无价值。但是伊讲我今仔日看耶稣上帝服我的，这是重要。这个就足趣味，咱中间咱若一段时间了，拢爱去配目镜，你爱去配迄个 reading glasses 老花眼啦吼，有时咱来配，咱来手术了，来去配一个，去用一个迄个乌目镜，吼，安尼看咧较袂去伤着目睭。但是咱若近视，那深了，咱嘛都爱安那摕一个迄个看一个迄个近视目镜。但是你也知讲，当你目镜挂入去了后，你看较清楚对无？你看的世界就无共款，你会挂迄个乌目镜看的时阵，你看起的世界嘛加较温和，嘛加较无共款。耶稣基督国外的困难对保罗来看，就拿起像伊挂一副新的目镜，互伊的一生人生伫遐改变。兄姊妹，咱其实嘛有，今日咱甲印尼教会大家坐做伙。因讲的话，咱听无，我嘛听无吼。咱讲的话，我即摆讲的台湾话，伊嘛听无。但是咱坐做伙，因为咱有共一个信仰，共一个上帝，咱要敬，咱伫遐学了上帝。这个目镜，迄耶稣基督国外的目镜， 改变咱，互咱会通甲迄个原来咱无可能坐做伙的人，甲伊坐做伙。咱无耶稣基督迄个国外迄个开来，将这一个目镜，互咱会通甲原来咱无都甲伊做伙伫遐吟诗学到上帝，咱做伙来吟诗。这对保罗来讲，这都是上帝的大决定。求上帝怜悯咱，求上帝怜悯咱，帮助咱，互咱常常去体会到主耶稣基督国外开来伫咱逐人的生命内面，伫遐咱经历遮个，也因为安尼，互咱伫这苦难中间，咱通去感受到上帝的安慰；伫黑暗中间，咱通去看见上帝互咱的光；伫绝望中间，咱通伫遐领受上帝要互咱的愿望。伫迄个怨恨，伫迄个大家自私，伫遐就有人要顾家己的即款的时代内面，咱因为即个目镜，因为即耶稣基督国外开来，互咱愿意甲人分享上帝的疼，上帝的平安。Well, we may as heard this news. A man from Houston. He spent from 1997. He decided to visit every single Starbucks coffee shop. As we know, that's 17 years right now. It's more than 10 or 11,000 Starbucks. That's a coffee shop he has visited. Wow. He said, I still have a lot. Especially those new coffee shops. I would like to visit every single coffee shop in the world, not in the USA, in the world. I'm curious, how come this young man, he spent 17 years and decided to do these kind of things? What kind of power, what kind of motivation, what kind of strength that pushed him to do this? Well, I don't know. Maybe some coffee fan, maybe you know. Recently I heard a story about a young man. He tried very hard and spent so many years to receive or to finish or receive his PhD degree. And had a prestigious, very good job. But one day, he came to his parents and said, well, Dad and Mom, I have already met your expectation. Now, I'm going to live for myself. He said, what? What are you doing? You have a very good job. He said, well, I like to take picture. I want to be a journalist, a photojournalist. I want to go everywhere and then use my camera and to grab those moments. That's I like. Until today, his parents still try to figure out what's going on about my son. Yes, we may hear this kind of or such kind of similar life-changing stories around us. Maybe you are the one. And Paul is the one. He has a very excellent background, received very good education. He has a promising future. But according to the Bible, he said, I look at this, for some reason, I look at this as rubbish, garbage. It's nothing. Well, today we know, Paul says, because of Jesus Christ. Yeah, we know. But think about ourselves. Think about ourselves. Sometimes when we come to Jesus Christ and we believe in Jesus Christ, we have different reasons. Sometimes we feel that Jesus Christ love. Sometimes we feel that Jesus Christ listened to my prayer. Or sometimes we feel that, we thank God, Jesus Christ answered my prayer, or my prayers. So, yes. So our lives maybe would changed. But think about Paul, Apostle Paul. What aspect or what from Jesus Christ had changed Paul's life? Which part? If Jesus Christ has a lot of things you can mention, but what part in Paul's mind is the first one? Say, is the first one and the fundamental one. From the Philippians chapter 3, verse 10. Paul saying, the power of Jesus Christ's resurrection. The power of Jesus Christ's resurrection changed my life. Now, it's just like Paul put on a new pair of glasses and say, he looked at the cross differently. He embraced suffering or sufferings differently. He refocused or rearranged his life goals, not based on his background, his education, but because of the power of Jesus Christ's resurrection. My brothers and sisters, indeed, every single of you and me, all of us, the power of Jesus Christ's resurrection should be the primary and the fundamental factor to influence our lives. And we may put on these glasses and think about this as maybe behind you or maybe just next to you, there's friends or brothers and sisters. We use different languages and we have different culture, and we have different flavor of food or meals. But we can sit together because what? Because we have one God, one faith. We are all God's children. May God's mercy be upon us. We always remember the power of Jesus Christ's resurrection already changed Paul's life, and this power can also transform and change our life today. With this power, we may receive comfort in the midst of grief or suffering. We may see light in the midst of darkness. We may have hope in the midst of despair. We may share love. We may share forgiveness in the midst of hatred. May God's mercy be upon us. Amen.